Productions, the Cultural Preservation Station. Tune in. Tune in. Hey yo. Black education, cultural preservation, Taylor BTV, but cause elevation. Tune into the station, we rockin' the whole nation. That's right, we rockin' the whole nation, prep the new generation for mental activation. Taylor BTV's the new sensation. Stop the hesitation and learn something new. My girl Taylor B's here to show and prove.
A woman found hanging from a tree behind a Jackson house has been identified, and that case is raising new questions tonight.
That's right. A city councilman says that federal authorities need to step in. 16 WAPT's Ross Adams explains what he wants and why he says the community can't wait.
Councilman Kenneth Stokes says he just sent a letter to the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Mississippi asking for the agency to help in any way it can after a young woman was found hanging from a tree in an abandoned home in West Jackson.
Anything that they can provide to get this hanging case solved quickly. We need to have someone in handcuffs as soon as yesterday.
Hinds County coroner identified the woman as 29-year-old Tasia Fortune. Investigators say Fortune's body had been hanging in the tree for 3 to 4 days before someone found it Monday night at the house on Road of Remembrance. Stokes' letter to the U.S. Attorney asked for help finding a suspect and a motive for the killing.
Everywhere you go, they talking about that hanging. I don't care where you go, to the grocery store, to get something to eat, people talking about that hanging.
The Jackson Police Department has said little about the case in the past 4 days. Other than a late Monday night social media post, JPD has been so tight-lipped, they haven't even sent out a press release.
Once upon a time, a press release would have come out quickly because of the sensitive nature of hangings in Mississippi.
Alrighty, let's talk about it.
In a Thursday interview with 16 WAPT, Police Chief Michelle Brackney refused to answer any questions about the hanging investigation. Councilman Stokes says even if there's no racial element to this hanging, he says given Mississippi's history of lynchings, public officials all across the city need to step up and say this is unacceptable behavior. Reported from Jackson, Ross Adams, 16 WAPT News.
A JPD spokesperson says the case remains an active investigation.
Peace, love, justice, and accountability out there to you, family. We are back with another episode of Justice on Earth. And this week we are leading out with the story out of Mississippi, the same state that Nolan Wells was unalived in. Mississippi just seems to be burning, right? Mississippi is under fire. It's literally burning. And it's literally burning because it's killing Black people. And this time, this is for Tasia Fortune. You just saw the intro video talking about Tasia Fortune, and the councilman, Mr. Stokes, is trying to get the FBI involved in this case. On August 3rd, Tasia Fortune, she's a 29-year-old Black woman. On August 3rd, she was found hanging from a tree behind a vacant home in Jackson, Mississippi. She's a mother of 4. She has a huge family. She just came from a family reunion a week prior to this happening to her. Her mother, Christy Spivey, has reported that she saw Tasia on July 26th. Like I said, they had a family reunion in Kentucky. That's where she's originally from. And she appeared to be fine. She was her normal self at the family reunion. She was at peace. So the mother and the entire family is strongly rejecting any type of narrative that Tasia did this to herself. And that's their position. And I stand with the family in that position. And furthermore, how could someone do this to themselves? And this is something that's actually been going around on social media, that Black people don't hang themselves from trees. We do not. That is not something that we do. If anyone knows any history about Black Americans, and you should know it watching this show, because we just did a show on this a couple weeks ago about modern day lynching. So if you didn't see the show about modern day lynching, make sure you go check that show out so you can see what we're talking about this. But the Equal Justice Initiative documents nearly 6,500 racial terror lynchings on Black people from the end of the Civil War in 1865 up through 1950. Okay, so these lynchings weren't just about killing people. These lynchings were about causing terror, public terror. It was about causing fear and putting fear into the Black community. It was about racial terror, right? Racial control and the failure to be prosecuted, right? So these hangings and these lynchings, historically, the dominant society has gotten away with doing lynchings on Black people. They used to put these on postcards. Go watch the show that we did a couple weeks ago again. They used to lynch us and put it on postcards and send the postcards around. They used to collect our body parts. They used to eat the body parts after they were lynched as if it was like a barbecue. They also used to put the body parts in mason jars and like sit those on their mantle. And they also took our skin and wore that as shoes, made shoes out of it, and just wore us as ornaments. So this is something that's deeply rooted in our history. So I definitely agree with the family 100%. This young lady did not and could not have done this to herself. Matter of fact, she was found so high up that the fire ladder had to get her down. And this is a substantiated report. And I'm going to go ahead and share something about that in a minute. But yes, her mother said that when she seen her on July 26th, there was nothing wrong with her. She was in good spirits. They had just come from a family reunion. And then this happens to her when she gets back to where she currently was residing in Mississippi. So let's talk about that ladder truck report. WAPT is reporting that a witness reported that the Jackson Fire Department had to use a ladder truck to help remove Tasia Fortune from the tree. So then we see where Councilman Kenneth Stokes publicly questioned how her body ended up high enough that such equipment was needed. And what we really don't know is like how high was it, you know, what the access point and access entries were around the tree and all that kind of stuff. But what we do know is she was high enough that the fire ladder had to come get her down safely. So I'm just going to say this. If the fire ladder is the one that had to come get her down safely, how do we know it wasn't the fire ladder that helped put her there? I'm just saying, allegedly. If they're the ones that had to come get her down, how do we know they're not the ones that put her there? Who else or what else would have equipment like that, a truck like that, that has a ladder that would go up that high, other than someone that already works in construction or that has a construction vehicle or a fire truck? There's no other way to get somebody that high in a tree. Someone could not definitely put themselves that high in a tree and hang themselves. So the mother is right to come out with her statement. Also, Councilman Stokes is right to ask for an independent autopsy review, because where we're actually going to take this episode is we're going to take this episode back to Staci Turner, the medical examiner. So before I get to her, I do want to share a couple more clips off of Instagram and give a little bit of a reaction to those. But then we're going to get into this Staci Turner business, because she is really one of the main culprits as to why and what is going on here. So first, I want to share this guy because I like what he says. So I'm going to share this. Let me put this back up. Hold on. I don't have to. Let me get the sound on. I did that last week. Okay. Let me share it.
Hey, white people, when are we going to start protecting black people? I'm being so serious because that's the 5th lynching in 2 months that they've called no foul play. Tasia was hung up so high that they needed a fire truck to get her down. And they're saying no foul play. I can't be crying. Gerard was hung behind a police station. No foul play. Tanya hung at a park. No foul play. Juliana hung at a church. No foul play. Soraya hung behind a Dollar Tree. No foul play. Nolan Wells. No foul play. Trey Reed. No foul play. Kyle Basinga. No foul play. Do you know a lot of black people that love playing with knots? I'm being so... Do you know black people that fucking play with ropes and climb trees? We're going to need to start getting violent for our black brothers and sisters. And I mean like really violent. Like I'm not talking about just like... Where are you? Tasia's body is going to the same medical examiner that Nolan Wells' family is still fighting. That Trey Reed's family is still fighting. It's a system designed to bury these kids while it makes their families, you know, go to these trials that aren't even real. While it lets people like Jesse, a kid who raped 2 girls, he broke one of their necks. His mom heard them in the room and he didn't have he didn't spend one day in jail. He's going to LSU. Nothing happened to him. It's just like Bart. His dad's like a football guy. They're rich as hell. And, did you know that Nolan Wells' best friends, obviously the ones who killed him, are using Trump's defense attorney? For a drowning, right? Because they're withholding and that's why they were withholding the information in the autopsy, giving them enough time to go through all this and let them know what they had on them so they could prepare. Do you understand that this is the thing that the South does over and over and over again at this point? I'm just begging white people at this point because I don't even know what else. I don't know what else to do. They need a race war before they need a world war. That's how this works. They need a reaction, but it has to be from us. It has to be from us this time, okay? They just showed us. They're showing us the nastiest shit we've ever seen. They showed us 3 teenage girls that just invited another teenage girl over who had epilepsy, who was pregnant, and they drugged her, and then they planned on murdering her and then burying her. But if she could defend herself like Carmelo Anthony, they wouldn't start that trial until there was an all-white jury. There'd be no justice. And if she can't defend herself, they're going to treat her like Cyrus Carmack Belton, and then Rick Child's just going to get to walk. The good old days are not coming back, okay? We will make sure of it. I just need to know who my allies are. I need to know where y'all are at, because this is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. It just is, and we see it. This is happening every week. We're being reminded of this shit, okay? So have a nice day. This is just a chill call to violence. Just a chill call. No, relax, algorithms. Remember, white people are not scary. We only go after women and children. That's it. Historically, we only kill women and children. We do not go after men because we get our asses kicked. So just stay armed and aim high. Okay, have a good day.
Okay. So let me stop that so that's not in the background. So yeah, I mean, you heard it from him. Let me see who he is. Tyke Music. That's at Tyke Music. So I want to give him his props on, on the video. And, basically what he said. I agree with everything that he said on his video. And I'll just, he could say it better than I ever could. So I'm not going to even expound on that further. I just agree with him. And at some point, people are going to have to start stepping up from every community, because at this point, you can see that this is a pattern, and this pattern is taking place in Mississippi. So now, family, I want to turn our attention to this Staci Turner, okay? Because now, this is like Tasia's the next person who something has happened to. We still don't have the autopsy report back from Nolan Wells yet. So now that's 2 reports that we don't have. She's probably going to drag her feet with this one, like she's been doing, just like the good brother Tyke Music just said that we just shared. They drag their feet. The medical examiner, they're all in on it. They drag their feet so they can set up all this defense that they want to set up so they can get away with what they're doing. Now, he just said one of those people were found hanged behind a police department. You tell me, besides law enforcement or some type of official person, could actually have the time to hang someone behind a police department without being caught? If you can answer that, put it in the comments below. Who besides an official person, whether that's law enforcement, a firefighter, a state worker, someone official, that would have time to hang someone behind a police department and not get caught? Who would have the equipment to hang someone so high in the tree that the firefighter had to get them down? Who has that type of equipment, family? Now, I know some things they say they hide them in plain sight. This shit is being done right in front of our face. And if you don't got eyes to see who's doing this and who's behind it and why all of this shit gets drug out with all this, taking all this time with the autopsy, trying to get higher officials involved, they not getting involved, or they get involved and they also drag their feet. You know why they drag their feet when they get involved? Because they already know who did this stuff. They all know who did it. We're the only ones sitting here acting like we don't know who did this to these people who are being hung. That's the people that I'm talking about right now. Because Black people do not hang themselves, especially given our history with being hung. That is just not something we do. And really, that's something that's hard to do, especially in Tasia's instance where she was so high that the fire truck had to get her down, especially in the instance behind the police station. By God, who would have time and ability to do such a heinous thing right behind the police station, right under their nose? Wonder who could have done that. So we got to start getting smarter about this. And I mean, our demands have to get a little bit more serious. And I don't know what exactly we need to do to get our demands felt the right way, but something has to give. If the FBI and the CIA or whatnot is not going to get involved, we're going to have to come together with our own party, just like we did in the past, family. That's what the Black Panther Party was about. It was about protecting the community. Okay? Protecting the community, making sure the kids have what they need, making sure the parents could get back and forth to work safely without all this nonsense going on. But see, that had to get infiltrated and torn apart as well, because can't have us protecting ourselves now, can we? Okay, so this is the type of stuff that we need to make sure that we're looking at. And right now, we're going to do a little background on this Staci Turner. And note how we're still waiting for the Nolan Wells autopsy report. And let's read a little bit about when Stacy got hired. Okay, so let's read a little bit about this. So, excuse me, this took place back in 2020, I believe. So let's just read it. This is Mississippi Name's next chief medical examiner, Dr. Staci Turner. Because I'm on her ass right now. Yes, I am. I'm on Stacy's ass. We need to find out what's going on, and she needs to stop labeling all of these suspicious Black deaths as undetermined. Okay, this is what she's been doing. So let's read about what they said about her when they hired her and why they love her so much. This is why they love her so much, because she was the perfect fit for them. Pick up what I'm putting down. Pick up what I just put down earlier on who I said was doing this. And now look at the perfect fit that they got for their medical examiner. The state of Mississippi has named the next chief medical examiner, Dr. Staci Turner, previously the state interim chief medical examiner, is stepping into the role for Mississippi Public Safety Commissioner. Dr. Staci Turner, previously the state's interim chief medical examiner, is stepping into the role. Turner joined the state medical examiner's office in January 2020 as the first full-time pathologist in South Mississippi at the start of what would become one of the deadliest years in the state's history. So that year, there were 578 homicides in Mississippi in 2020, which is a state of 3 million, compared with 440 in 2019 and 389 in 2018. Okay. Pathologists were dealing with an increased workload at the same time as they were trying to whittle down a backlog of unfinished autopsy reports. Okay, so they were backed up, and they say Turner gained a reputation with the coroner's office and within the medical examiner's office as being dependable and timely with reports. Well, we can't goddamn tell. We cannot tell how timely and efficient and effective she is with these reports, because every report that has to do with a suspicious Black death has been delayed, including Nolan Wells, who by today is August 11th, and Nolan Wells was unalived on July 4th, and we still don't have his report back. Okay, and there's a couple other people's reports that we don't have back, and then there was another report that she concluded as undetermined, but an outside pathologist concluded as a homicide. So she is clearly covering up information in these reports. Now, so I'll read that again for the people in the back. Turner gained a reputation with the coroner's office and within the medical examiner's office as being dependable and timely with reports. She is not. She wraps reports up. This is what they're saying about her, right? Here we go. The Forest County coroner said, the Forest County coroner, Butch Benedict, said, she wraps reports up so fast, it's almost making our heads spin. Let me get up here, because I ain't even playing with this lady no more. They said that she wraps reports up so fast that it's almost making their heads spin. That she has gained a reputation, let's read it verbatim, she gained a reputation with the medical examiner's office as being dependable and timely with reports. Well, we can't tell. Maybe she's only timely and dependable reports when it is not a Black person that she's doing the reporting on. I mean, maybe that's it, because every Black person that she's reported on, she has not been timely, and she has not been efficient, and she has not produced the correct information. Because again, now let's share this. Staci Turner can't be trusted. Now we're talking about, can she be trusted? Can Staci Turner be trusted? Staci Turner cannot be trusted in a state scared by lynchings. 4 Black deaths and 1 troubling autopsy finding have Black families questioning Mississippi's medical examiner. Okay, and of course, in a state with a long history of lynchings and racial injustice, advocates are raising concerns about Mississippi's chief medical examiner and her rulings in several deaths involving Black residents in recent years. Staci Turner is a board certified forensic pathologist. Again, we just read that she became the interim chief medical examiner back in 2021. Actually back in 2020, and in 2021, I believe, is when she stepped into the role full time. Okay. Over the past week, she has been accused of obscuring evidence and obscuring the truth in the deaths of Nolan Wells, Damian Cameron, DeMartravian Trey Reed, and Channon Wilson. Okay. And now we have another person that she's going to be doing this medical examination on, with Tasia Fortune. Okay. So let's get Staci's picture up here, because Staci deserves to be seen, right? We deserve to know what she looks like. And I really think that it's time that we put pressure on these offices. Okay. It is time that we put pressure on these offices. So this is Staci. That's her. And of course, these are the young gentlemen I just named. And this is the medical examining officer. So this is what we're talking about here. Staci Turner, the Jackson Police Department, the state officials, the mayor, the governor down there, they all need to be under investigation right now. I am making a call to action to put them under investigation right now for all of the things that are going on. Mississippi is literally burning, and we're all literally just sitting here watching it, and it seems like no one is doing anything about it. So this is the time to put pressure on people, and be careful with the way you do this. Do this very legally, very cleanly. Make complaints, make official statements, send them in, call the hotline, make complaints that way. Do not, threaten anyone. Don't get yourself locked up doing something stupid. Don't threaten anyone. Don't do anything dumb. Everything that we do has to be on point, family. And this is why I said we need to move with logic and not emotion. I know this is very emotional for all of us, but we have to be logical, because they're turning things on us. Like I said, the only people that they have arrested in Nolan Wells' case are the people that they're saying that are harassing law enforcement. They ain't arrested not near one person that been involved in that case. That was on that boat with him. Not one person's been even looked at for arrest. The only people that they're arresting are the people that they claim are harassing law enforcement. So we had to be very strategic, and we had to be careful about the way that we approach these things. Now, what I also want to share, give me 1 second, because I don't know why that's not sharing right. I want to share this petition, because there's an actual petition up right now, family, to revoke Staci Turner's medical license. And I am about to actually, let's do it right now. I'm going to sign this petition right now while I'm on air. And I'm not going to, I'll share it instead right now, because I can't do the payment on here, but I don't mind giving a couple dollars to the petition. Okay. But I just signed the petition. I just signed this petition to petition, and I want to get back to it so I can read it a bit. And it's saying I got one more thing to do. Let me just share it to Facebook real quick. Family. Let me just share this to Facebook real quick so it can let me get back in here. Okay, that should have did it. All right, I don't know why it didn't go back, but let me get back here because I want to read this. I want to read about it for you. So yes, so let me get this up. So yes, there's 38,796 names on the petition so far, family. So let's read about this, and then we're going to cut this short tonight because this is all about Stacey. She's the star of the show tonight because she needs to get her act together, or we need to vote her out of this role. And we need to get somebody in there that's non-biased, that's going to be very transparent about what's going on. But the problem is the rest of those officials down there seem very corrupt. So I do think that this has to be something bigger that happens for the state of Mississippi. Here's a petition. This is the petition, family. So let me get back up on the screen. And I'm going to go ahead and read about this petition and about what they are talking about with Staci Turner, with trying to get her removed from being the medical examiner in Mississippi. Okay, so the petition is demanding an independent investigation into the conduct of Mississippi Chief Medical Examiner Staci Turner, the governor of Mississippi, the Mississippi State Board of Medical Licensure, and the Mississippi Department of Public Safety, and the Mississippi Attorney Generals, and the United States Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division, and all agencies are charged with protecting the integrity of Mississippi's criminal justice system. We, the undersigned citizens, families, advocates, and supporters of equal justice under the law, respectfully but unequivocally call for an immediate independent investigation into the professional conduct, forensic determinations, and death investigations overseen by Mississippi Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Staci Turner. The office of the State Medical Examiner occupies one of the most consequential positions within Mississippi's justice system. Medical examiners are entrusted with determining the cause and manner of death through objective scientific analysis. Their conclusions influence criminal investigations, judicial proceedings, insurance determinations, and most importantly, whether grieving families ever receive justice. That public trust is compromised whenever credible questions arise regarding the accuracy, consistency, or impartiality of death investigations. Over the past several years, multiple deaths involving African American individuals have generated substantial public concern. Families, independent forensic experts, civil rights advocates, and members of the public have questioned whether these investigations were conducted with the rigor, transparency, and impartiality required by accepted forensic standards. Among those cases are DeMartravian Trey Reed, a 21-year-old Delta State University student found hanging from a tree in September 2025. Although his death was officially ruled a suicide, his family has publicly challenged that determination and commissioned an independent forensic review be done. Their pursuit of additional examination reflects a profound lack of confidence in the state's investigation. Damian Cameron, following his death after an encounter with Rankin County Sheriff's deputies, Dr. Turner's office classified the manner of death as undetermined. Independent forensic pathologists later concluded that the evidence supported a homicide determination, raising significant questions about the original findings and whether critical evidence was appropriately evaluated. Shannon Wilson, his family has publicly expressed concern that his body was embalmed before they believed all necessary forensic examinations had been completed, thereby limiting opportunities for additional independent analysis. Whether or not protocol was followed, the circumstances have further eroded public confidence in the integrity and transparency of Mississippi's death investigation process. Nolan Xavier Wells, his death has likewise become the subject of significant public scrutiny. An independent forensic pathologist concluded that the manner of death should remain undetermined pending further investigation and stated that foul play could not be excluded. That opinion stands in contrast to the state's conclusions and underscores the need for objective review. No single disputed case necessarily establishes misconduct. However, when multiple investigations involving similar public concerns continue to emerge, government oversight is not merely appropriate, it's essential and necessary. This petition does not ask the public to presume wrongdoing. Instead, it asks government officials to fulfill their legal and ethical obligation to determine whether Mississippi's death investigation system is operating within scientific integrity, professional independence, and equal treatment under the law. Accordingly, we demand that the appropriate authorities appoint an independent panel of board-certified forensic pathologists from outside the state of Mississippi to review disputed death investigations overseen by Dr. Staci Turner. Conduct and comprehensive audit of death classifications in cases where credible concerns have been raised by families or supported by independent forensic opinion to determine whether accepted forensic pathology standards, ethical obligations, and state laws were consistently followed, to examine whether any systemic disparities or patterns exist in the investigation or classification of deaths involving African Americans, to publicly release the findings of the investigation, to ensure transparency and restore public confidence if the evidence establishes professional misconduct, gross negligence, incompetence, ethical violations, or any breach of licensing standards. Initiate disciplinary proceedings, including suspension or revocation of Dr. Turner's medical license as warranted by the findings. Public confidence in the justice system cannot exist without confidence in the integrity of forensic death investigations. Every inaccurate determination has the potential to deny justice victims, deprive families of truthful answers, and undermine the rule of law. The citizens of Mississippi deserve a medical examiner's office that is independent, objective, transparent, and beyond reproach. Justice demands accountability, the truth demands transparency, and the people of America deserve both. This is respectfully submitted by the citizens, families, community leaders, and supporters of equal justice and accountability. There you have it. Okay, there you have it. We are landing our plane there. This show is about Staci Turner. This show is about putting her under a microscope. It's about sharing this petition. I will be putting the link to the petition in the description box below. I'll put some links to the articles that I shared in the description box below. Okay, so we need to make sure that we're holding these people accountable. Okay, they need to be held accountable, period. All right, now let's move on. So let's move into our reparations watch. This week, we're still focused on the New York State Community Commissions of Reparations Remedies. They're holding a meeting on August 14th from 3 to 5 p.m. in Rochester and New Rochelle locations. So make sure you look that up for the Rochester and New Rochelle for the exact location. This is taking place on August 14th from 3 to 5. That's this Friday. Okay, so make sure that you are in tune with that, so you can make sure that you are, all the Black American family can make sure that they're out there supporting everything for our reparations fight. Now, I do, like I said, I want to reiterate that the mother has spoken out, and she has said that her daughter was not suicidal. So they better not come back with something saying that she killed herself. Like, we don't want to hear that. That is not how this case better come back. Okay, so let me just pull this up. I got one more thing to show. So it's time to talk about our Black Business Spotlight this week before we close the show out. And this week I have something to share. I'm going to add this to the stage. So this week I am sharing the Concept Studio Artisan Boutique LLC. They are over there at 25 Maplewood Mall in Philadelphia. This is an artisan beauty lab, and they also do skincare. So they do beauty care, skincare. They sell clothes, they have jewelry, it's a plethora of things. It's a very beautiful place, and this is something that you definitely want to go to. They have spa services here. They have their skincare services here. My daughter actually got a facial here for her birthday a couple years ago. And this is just they have very unique artifacts, and accessories that you can shop, okay? And so we want to make sure that you're over here supporting this good business and for all your beauty needs. So if you have any beauty needs, I want you to head over to the beauty lab to get those beauty needs met. Okay. And again, they are at 25 Maplewood Mall over there in Philadelphia. That is our show for this week. Remember, the main thing that we want to look at right now is the suspicion behind these deaths. We need to really look at the facts of the deaths, look at where these people were found, and start asking ourselves, who has the ability to put these people in these places, right? Who has the ability to do these? Who has the ability to do these things without being seen, right? Those are the questions that we need to start asking, because of course we approach all of this from the 7D cultural ascension principles. That's our cap. That is our critical thinking cap. And in our critical thinking, we use discernment. And we have to start using our discernment to look at the facts of these cases, to look at some of these little things that they bring out, because they really do hide stuff right in front of your face. I mean, that is the age-old way to hide something from someone, is put it right in front of their face, right? So we really need to start getting serious about, you know, who is committing these crimes, allegedly, right? And that's all we really have. And I really do want to say peace and love to everyone out there. Thank you so much for tuning in to Justice on Earth. If there's a specific story you want to see me cover, make sure you send me stuff throughout the week and I'll put it up on the show. If you have a Black business that you want me to highlight, please send it to me. You can send me things on a text line at 302-492-7722, or you can DM me on Instagram at Taylor B Media, or just leave me a comment below. What I do want you guys to do is comment below about Dr. Staci Turner, and do you believe that she is treating these Black American cases with the same rigor that she does every other case that comes through that medical examiner's office? Okay, because we need to really start examining these people and examining the things that they're doing. We, the people, have the power. I know it doesn't feel like that lately, but don't forget, we are the people, and the people hold the power. So when we get ready to move, we can make anything move, okay? Especially as a Black American community, but even wider than that, as a society of human beings that live on planet Earth. When we are ready to make shit move, we can make it move. So don't forget that you hold all the power within you. And when we stick together and we stand together, you can't break us when we're all together, okay? So keep that in mind, family. They want to separate us. They want to separate us by race, class, ethnicity, nationality, all of that. We cannot let them. We cannot let them. So I want to say peace, love, justice, and accountability. Make sure you tune in next Tuesday for the next installment of Justice on Earth. Peace.
Freedom, freedom, justice, equality,
What I'm gonna talk about.
freedom,
What I'm gonna
freedom,
talk
freedom,
about.
justice, equality, yeah.
Freedom for you and for me.
But when I look at y'all, I see a law. When I look in the mirror, I see a law. Now the question is, what is our law going to do for his nation? What is the earth going to do for their nation? So if you want things to change, if you want things to become better, then you yourself must make these things what happen. All that is caused by you, not by something else. Stop thinking that something is going to cause something to happen. Stop thinking something is going to cause